We cannot use logical thinking as we do. He's going to lose millions of his troops and he's going to knock China back 20 years. To him, it might be worth it to achieve his goal because he's that kind of person. The people of Taiwan have spoken. They believe peace through strength is the right way to go to continue the peaceful living of Taiwan. In the United States, the war planning process is very deliberate. It covers I can talk about this.
We do have somewhat of an expert panel here today. Uncle Topher, who I hope you all are already familiar with, and maybe a new face for many, Tony. Just to bring everyone up to speed, who are you, how has your career looked like, and what are you doing here in Taiwan now?
Well, my name is Tony Hugh. I'm a retired U.S. Air Force officer. I was in the U.S. Air Force for actually 27 years. After I retired, I became the senior director in the Office of Secretary of Defense for China, Taiwan, Mongolia. And that's how I also ended up being working in American Institute in Taiwan.
How is it to work in the Pentagon? Is it as like high secure, classified as we believe from like the TV shows?
Yes, because Pentagon is a place where you do future planning, and that's always classified. But you also respond to day-to-day event. When I was there, I'd be at my desk around 6:30 in the morning, and I call up the intel guy in the basement, and they hand carry the classified stuff up for intel update because you need to know what has happened. Every day something happens, and you need to be up to it. And that's the same book that the president gets, the Secretary of Defense gets. But even though my office is a vault, there's certain classification. So I have certain compartment I can see, but the other guys in my office may not have that same compartment. They cannot see. Yeah. So I cannot leave it in my office. Then I have to sign for the fact that I'm one of the person who knows. So in case the information get leaked, they can go check who knows about this.
Yeah. I don't dare to ask any more questions because I feel like I'm so not on the need to know basis. So I think I'm just gonna go straight to it. How safe is Taiwan? I guess there is no one better to ask than you.
Actually, no one better to ask than Xi Jinping.
Oh.
Because
he's our guest next week now.
All these people worry about the strength of the Chinese military, for example, thinking that's a threat and stuff. Actually, the biggest danger is what's in Xi Jinping's mind.
Right.
He has an emperor's dream. He wants to be the great emperor. And he will do anything to get there. Just look how far he has gone, how many obstacles he has overcame. He was rejected by the party 3 times. He tried to join the Communist Party when he was young. They rejected him 3 times. He was so pissed. So I suspect in his mind, he decided one day I'm going to be the party chairman. And he did. He has removed the term limit of party chairman. And he has eliminated anyone who can challenge him. And he has said it again and again, it's inevitable that he's going to take over Taiwan. We cannot use logical thinking as we do. He's going to lose millions of his troops and he's going to knock China back 20 years. To him, it might be worth it to achieve his goal because he's that kind of person. So it is so important for those who has the ability to study his thinking, study his action, and predict his action to stay fully alert to that because that is going to affect the peace of the entire world.
You guys aren't really helping because I wanted to start this video trying to comfort my mom saying Taiwan is safe.
But the bottom line is Taiwan is safe. They are defense against every one of those things.
Yeah.
But then, once again, you don't want to think in a Western way. Just because Taiwan is strong and stuff doesn't mean Xi Jinping doesn't go crazy one day. But even when he does crazy things, he won't succeed.
What he's told is possible and what is actually possible, that could be very different things. Probably are very different things.
Yeah, I'm sure Putin didn't attack Ukraine without this guy on the side say, yeah, boss, you can do it, man.
Yeah.
Go
3
in
days,
there,
no
3
problem.
days, 3 days. In the United States, the war planning process is very deliberate. It covers, I can talk about this. During Gulf War, it's known, and it was published that first 3 days of war was already planned. So that's no secret. It's already out. So in most cases, the first few hours of war is already planned. Then the war plan contains branches and sequel based on enemy's action, and it depends on what enemy does. And these are pre-planned because there are people who understands the enemy who said most likely he's going to do this. If not, he's going to do this. If not, he's going to do this.
Yeah.
So you got that all planned out. It's classified where United States have war plans, but you can bet everywhere there's U.S. national interest, there's a war plan.
Oh, at least a war plan.
At least a
dozens
war
of
plan.
war plans.
Yes.
Yeah.
So enough said about that. The security of Taiwan, I think it's safe, even though China continues to try to push otherwise. Although some politicians also want to do that to gain support, to gain funding.
Right.
And that needs to continue, obviously. Taiwan's ability to defend itself in and by itself is deterrence, peacekeeping. Maintaining peace. So Taiwan needs to continue to strengthen its own defense, of course. Although those pro-China guys say, oh, United States just want to sell arms to make money. The fact is, if China stopped the threat, then this will stop also. You don't talk to the Taiwan guys not to buy arms. Tell the Chinese stop the threat. It's corresponding. Taiwan actually have a very good military. I know MND doesn't want to say too much because keep the enemy guessing and keep them underestimate. The more they underestimate, the better. So I understand that, but sometimes I wonder if that's the smartest thing because sometimes people in Taiwan themselves don't have confidence in their military.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Right?
I've noticed that.
It's a common theme. And based on my 27 years of active duty where I got typecasted on the Asia side, I can't get an assignment to Europe. But that also gave me the opportunity to exercise and interact with every country in this region, now other than Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, I would say every country, been there, done that with them. And when I compare those military with Taiwan, they're right up there. They're very good.
The thing that pops up the most in my news is that China is flying over the ADIZ.
ADIZ.
It's not actually above the land of Taiwan, which when it gets translated and reported in Europe, sometimes it sounds like it's literally
it's a territorial
above
airspace.
Taiwan.
Yeah.
Right? How worried should we be about these flyovers actually?
I'm not terribly worried about them. Pilots in any Air Force, pilots need to have a certain amount of hours of flight training. And the way I looked at it is that, they have to do flight training anyways, flight time. They might as well do something in their wolf warrior diplomacy to annoy Taiwan. That's how I saw it. It's just something that can easily appease Xi Jinping and annoy Taiwan at the same time. So I don't take it as serious a threat as a lot of media outlets.
Yeah, ADIZ is set by each country themselves.
So there's never been an agreement before that
No, there is no agreement. It's for your own air defense. You want to have time to respond.
Right.
So, and they are overlapping. So it is in and by itself. It's not a threat. Anybody can fly, commercial aircraft fly through those same zones. During wartime, there will be warnings to commercial aircraft to stay away. There will be areas where everything that flies will be identified, and if hostile will be shut down.
Are there any specific or more tangible threat levels that are being discussed right now? So for example in Sweden we have an overall terror scale.
Okay.
And Sweden went from a 3 to a 4, and the entire nation is freaking out because we think that shit is gonna hit the fan, right? Do we have a percentage or a scale or where are we right now in a more tangible comparison?
Well, Topher, you and I are familiar with DEFCON.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's the U.S.
defense condition, and Taiwan does have the same system. U.S. have similar systems for specific areas internally, and I'm not sure right now Indo-PACOM, what condition they're set for this region. I suspect it's fairly high for Taiwan just because the recent incident in Jinmen, for example.
Right.
That was my next question, actually. I feel like my documents are not having the classified label here. Everyone can see them, apparently.
Yeah. So same thing. So recent that might have heightened, and hopefully you'll go back down. Hopefully China doesn't take advantage of the situation and try to do something even more foolish.
Basically, to bring everyone up to speed who's watching, recently there were 2 fishermen who were drowning because they were chased or pursued by the Taiwan Coast Guard. And then after that, the Chinese Coast Guard had triggered some panic in quotation marks, in Taiwan because they had then boarded a Taiwanese ship to do some inspections.
Theory.
How likely is it that incidents like these could actually escalate to then cause a more military response?
Very likely, because it all depends on the political motive behind it. This is an accident. The four guys were running away, and they are jerking their ship themselves and overdid it, rode over. Their own action caused the accident, and their inability to swim caused the death. So doing illegal things in the Taiwan waters and then try to run away, try to get away with the Coast Guard by doing things their boat can't handle. But China made it into a political issue. So certainly, there's chance of it being blown out of proportion. Just like China used Pelosi's visit, change status quo.
It's real easy for a ship captain, maybe a pilot who flies too aggressively, causes a mid-air accident, and that could quickly escalate into something that nobody wants to see.
That is a good point, because China does this all the time. 2001, remember EP3 incident? One of their fighter jet F-8 ran into our EP3 because he was hot dogging, trying to get too close, and he hit our aircraft. Our aircraft ended up during emergency landing in Hainan Island. I don't know if you remember that incident. They kept our guys for 21 days. They torn our aircraft apart, returned it in crates, and went through our classified stuff. Those were bad times because we had to redo everything, change all the codes, because those codes, some of them were used by our allies. So it's a global change, and it was tremendous. But same thing can happen recently. They've been doing the same thing with our RC-135s, doing the dangerous things. And when I was in the Pentagon, actually, several times I had to call in the Chinese attaché to complain. Here's a picture from our air crew. You guys got in 20 feet. What were you thinking?
Yeah.
It's dangerous, and cut it out. Of course, they never cut it out. They're still doing it. It's very dangerous. Situation like that, especially with the military asset, more dangerous than a civilian asset.
You mentioned like the visit of Pelosi. One thing that surprised me so much that I know people who were thinking about moving to Taiwan, but then postponed their move to Taiwan for like 6 months plus because of their national media reporting that because of the Pelosi visit, Taiwan is even less stable. Is there anything that you've noticed that like just global like media outside of Taiwan, is there anything that most of them like get wrong or like is misunderstand about the situation? Because for me and for us living here, like our daily life versus what my mom would read in the Swedish newspaper is completely different.
China spends literally billions on global information campaign.
Oh, yeah.
To push their end of the story. United States is Taiwan's closest partner. They want to create a situation in Taiwan where the people of Taiwan don't want United States. Okay, look, American just increase your risk. America's goodwill is producing a reverse effect. You don't want American goodwill. That's the message they want to send. And they send that message globally. And they have a very coordinated grand strategy globally. The Confucian Academy offers free Chinese language training, free trips to China.
Oh, okay.
For high school, college kids with the purpose of brainwashing.
Sure.
Okay? They see the Chinese story and believe it. They don't see the human rights violation, the Uyghurs locked up, right? All they see is all this good thing that China wants to show when they go to China. So they become a information repeater, repost on their Facebook or wherever, Chinese version, TikTok, Chinese version of the story.
Yeah. Yeah, the Chinese are actually pretty sophisticated in their foreign propaganda at sowing discontent and taking two people that already might disagree about something and, driving a bigger wedge into it. Do it in some fairly ingenious ways. They'll make a fan page, like a fan Facebook page, where they'll post positive things about, say, Biden or Nancy Pelosi or whoever. Gather their own fan base of people who agree with it, and then slowly start to change the narrative in there. If only they did this better, if only they did that better. You find out that this official fan page is actually run by the CCP.
Oh, yeah. They have tens and thousands of people that's nothing but that, and it's ongoing now.
Hundreds of YouTube channels.
Yeah, they are tearing United States apart from inside. They are also tearing Taiwan apart from the inside. Feed radical information on both sides. Because of our freedom of speech, freedom of press, they use it against us, where we can do the same in China or in Russia. They fully control the press and fully control the information. We're a free country like ours. Any information can go out there.
We recently had an election here in Taiwan with DPP once again winning and being the president for the next 4 years. How much does that election has in terms of how the future will look like? And another question is, the rumors say that in May, when there will be like the official takeover, maybe like some sort of action or response from China. What can we expect if we're here in Taiwan in May?
I think if there's anything in May, we'd probably see a response similar to when Pelosi visited. So basically like a naval live fire exercise where they exercise blockading Taiwan and maybe have somewhat of a temporary blockade through air traffic and whatnot, just because it's not safe to fly, maybe last a few days. I was actually surprised that there was a very little response after the elections were announced.
I think China learned. Previously when they launched missiles and stuff, they got the exact reverse of what they was hoping for, So I think this time they were less using military force to influence the election. As far as changes, William Lai, I suspect, will continue to take the position of peace through strength to maintain the kind of self-defense capability to ensure Taiwan enjoys peace. You asked what would happen if KMT got elected. I think the party platform in the beginning has been that peace through appeasement versus peace through strength. I think those were the two biggest difference, because if you recall, before the election, KMT was saying, if you vote for DPP, you're voting for war because this election is between peace and war. It's not. It was between how that peace is going to be obtained, whether it's because you're strong and China can't do anything and have to maintain peace, or because you want to say, I listen to you, don't hit me. I'll be a good boy. But in that scenario, your peace is not yours. Anytime the other side decides to do something, and if you're not strong and you've been trying to appease him, when he decides to slap you around, you don't have a way to defend yourself. So I think that was the difference of this election, and the people of Taiwan have spoken. They believe peace through strength is the right way to go to continue the peaceful living of Taiwan.
That was actually all the questions we had for this video, but please do remember to subscribe to this channel, because there might be another video on the same topic from the same discussion with these amazing guys. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Lukas. Starts with L as in like, ends with S as in subscribe. Peace to both, and see you all in the next one.